All right, we are moving on to chapter 6. 6.1 is about chromosomes and meiosis. Actually, meiosis isn't even until next section, so I don't even know why it's named that, but chromosomes we are talking about first. The essential question, how are traits passed through generations? It's going to be the same essential question for the entire chapter. Our key concept, all of our cells have 46 chromosomes set up in pairs, except for our gametes, which are our sex cells, the sperm and eggs that you see in the picture. So if you remember, way back in December, the last thing we talked about was mitosis and how most of our cells go through mitosis when our cells just need to divide and we need to make more. So humans have body cells and sex cells. The fancy science name for body cells are somatic cells, our heart cells, liver cells, skin cells, brain cells. Those are all collectively known as somatic cells. And then our sex cells, the ones we use to make babies, are called gametes. They can also be called germ cells. So they have two different fancy science names that mean the same thing. They're located in the ovaries and testes, depending on which one you have, and they are also known as egg and sperm. So ovaries and testes are the actual organs that make those cells. The cells are known as eggs and sperm. And these cells, the gametes, have the DNA that gets passed to offspring. So you could have a mutation in your heart cells, but those won't necessarily get passed on to your children if they are not part of your DNA in your sperm and eggs. Chromosomes can be homologous. That's how you say that word. The prefix homo means same, and the root word logos means structure. So homologous chromosomes are a pair of two chromosomes that have the same structure. And that's a good setup. I don't necessarily have you drawing this one, but the labels are actually very useful. So you have two chromosomes, they have the same structure, and each chromosome has different structures on it. I think it's the next slide. I do have you drawing. Human chromosomes, all somatic cells. So all of your body cells have 23 pairs of homologous chromosomes. Pairs means two. So we multiply for 23 times 2 for a total of 46 altogether. Why is that bad? It's okay. Now, our somatic cells with the full complement of 46 chromosomes are called diploid cells. If you remember way back from chapter 2, the prefix di, we talked about disaccharides, the prefix di means two. So diploid cells have two copies of every chromosome. And you get them from your parents, one from mom, one from dad. All of our body cells are somatic cells: brain, liver, heart, stomach, intestine, lung. They are all diploid. They all have the 2 sets of chromosomes. And a lot of this is just vocabulary, so that when we actually use these words like diploid later, you'll understand what they mean. Now, our other cells, we cannot pass all 46 chromosomes onto our children. We only pass half of the information. So our body finds a way to cut that number in half. And that is known as a haploid cell. Haploid cells only have 1 copy of every chromosome. So when you hear hap, think half. And our gametes are haploid. Like I said, these are the cells that we pass on to our children. We only get to pass on half of our information. The other half has to come from the other parent. So body cells are diploid. They have all 46. Gametes are haploid. They only have 23. And that process where our body cuts that number in half is called meiosis, and that's what we're going to be talking about next week. But our body does this for us. It cuts that information in half so that our children don't have too many chromosomes, because that leads to trouble. A karyotype. Yes, Maddie, the video will be posted this afternoon. So a karyotype is a picture of all human chromosomes, no problem. And all the chromosomes are paired up in their homologous partners. So all the chromosomes with the same structure, they get paired up together. You guys are actually going to be doing this next week. And like we just said, there's 23 pairs. So pairs 1 through 22 are called autosomes. They control 99% of your bodily structures and functions. Pair number 23 are the sex chromosomes. And these are the X's and Y's. And they determine gender. They determine birth gender. This is where I always have to have a little asterisk here. This is basic biology. So we are learning basic biology. I do talk about the gender spectrum in my college class. So if you ever want to take my college class, let me know. We're actually trying to put it online. But for now, just the basics. If a person has 2 X's, they are a girl. They are assigned a girl at birth. If they have an X and a Y, they are a boy. And the easiest way to remember that is the word boy ends in Y. So boys have Ys. So we learn about the basics first, then there's always exceptions. We can learn about the exceptions later. But that is all for the notes. So going back to Canvas, we'll make it bigger. So you only have 3 assignments this week. Typically I post 4, but it's the first week back. So Giovanni, this is exactly why I'm going to post the video later. So you can go back to the first page in the end. Yes. because I always talk too fast, or people's internet goes in and out, or they don't catch it. Either way. So I'm going to post the video. It takes Google about an hour to send me the video. And then I post it on YouTube because YouTube links are just the easiest. And then I will post it. Okay? So look for that. Maybe probably by lunchtime. I'll post it. Anyone have any other questions? You can stick around if you do.
With the notes, do we just take a picture and upload the picture, or how do we submit the notes?
Yes. So
Okay.
first, make sure, here, I'm going to go back to this. Notes. Click on it. There we go. So make sure all the blanks are filled in. We just went over the notes. Make sure we complete our summary at the end. So there's directions on how to complete the summary. You click on it. It's an actual link. And then, yep, take a clear picture of your completed notes and then upload it here for credit. You should be able to take more than one picture, like more than one page, and upload it. But if you can't, we can talk about it.